My name is Adrian, and this is the story of how I almost lost myself to the most dangerous woman I have ever loved. Her name is Lila. I still remember the first night she walked into my life. She didn't rush. She didn't announce herself. She just sat beside me at the bar, crossed her legs slowly, and said, "Do you always look this serious, or am I just lucky tonight?" I laughed, nervously. I had no idea that moment would ruin me. From the beginning, Lila never chased. She invited. She would lean close when she spoke, not touching, just close enough for me to smell her perfume. Soft, warm, dangerous. "Relax, Adrian," she would whisper. "I'm not going to bite unless you ask." And I would forget how to breathe. We started seeing each other often. Late-night drives, quiet restaurants, long conversations that ended too soon. She listened when I talked. She touched my arm when I laughed. She looked at me like I was something she wanted to unwrap slowly. One night, in her apartment, she poured us wine. She handed me a glass and said, "Sit, let me look at you." I sat. She walked around me slowly, studying me, like a painter examining a canvas. "You know," she said softly, "you're too controlled." I raised an eyebrow. "What does that mean?" She leaned down until her lips were near my ear. "It means you're hiding things." My heart started racing. Lila loved tension. She would sit beside me on the couch, so close our thighs touched. She wouldn't move. She wouldn't kiss me. She would just look at me, waiting. "You're thinking too much," she'd say. "Come closer." And I would, slowly, carefully. She would rest her head on my shoulder, her fingers tracing invisible lines on my hand. Not enough to be innocent, not enough to be guilty, just enough to make me restless. One evening, rain was falling heavily outside. We were alone in her room, lights dim, curtains half closed. She stood by the window, watching the rain. "Do you know what I like about you?" she asked. "What?" I replied. She turned. "You try not to want me." She walked toward me, step by step. I swallowed. "And?" I asked. She stopped inches away. "I like breaking that." She reached up and adjusted my collar, slowly. Her fingers brushed my neck. "Why are you shaking?" she asked softly. "I'm not," I lied. She smiled. "Yes, you are." Then she placed her hand on my chest. "Your heart is telling the truth." I closed my eyes. That was the first night she kissed me. Not fast, not desperate. Slow, exploratory, like she was learning my reactions. When she pulled away, she whispered, "See, you're not as strong as you pretend." After that, everything changed. Our conversations became deeper. Our looks became longer. Our silences became louder. She would send me messages like, "I'm thinking about your hands," or "I miss the way you look at me when you're trying not to touch me," and I would spend hours distracted. But Lila had secrets. She never talked about her past, never mentioned her ex, never explained why she sometimes disappeared for days. One night, I asked her, "Why do you keep me at a distance?" She laughed. "I don't." "Yes, you do," I said. "You let me close, but never all the way." She walked over, sat on my lap, and wrapped her arms around me. "Because if I let you too close, I might fall," she whispered. "And that scares you?" I asked. "Yes," she replied honestly. Then came Marcus, her ex. He returned suddenly, calling her, showing up, texting late at night. I noticed the change. She became distracted, quiet. One night I confronted her. "Are you still in love with him?" She didn't answer immediately. That silence broke me. "I don't know," she finally said. After that, she changed. She became bolder, more daring, more intense, like she was trying to drown her confusion in desire. She would pull me close in public, whisper things only I could hear. "Do you know how hard it is not to drag you somewhere private right now?" She would sit on my lap at parties, run her fingers through my hair, mark her territory. But emotionally, she was slipping away. One night, she invited me over unexpectedly. When I arrived, she was wearing a silk robe, barefoot, hair loose, eyes burning. "Stay," she said. "Tonight, just stay." We sat on her bed. She faced me. "Adrian," she whispered, "if I give you everything, will you still stay when it's hard?" "Yes," I answered without thinking. She leaned in, kissed me deeply, longer than ever before, more desperate, more vulnerable. When she rested her forehead against mine, she said, "I'm afraid I'll hurt you." "You already have," I replied gently. She looked at me, tears in her eyes. "I don't want to lose you." "Then choose me," I said. Silence. 2 weeks later, she left. No warning, no explanation, just a message. "I love you, but I'm not brave enough." It took me months to heal, months to stop checking my phone, months to stop dreaming of her touch, months to forgive myself. Then, one evening, she called. "Adrian," she said softly, "I'm sorry." "Why now?" I asked. "Because I finally understand. You weren't just desire. You were home." I closed my eyes. "Are you ready to stay this time?" I asked. "Yes," she whispered. And in that moment, I knew real love isn't just about passion. It's about choosing each other, even when temptation, fear, and doubt try to pull you apart. And this time, I was willing to try again. And that was a night with Lila that changed everything. A night I still remember more clearly than any photograph. Then she said, "Come, I miss you." When I arrived, she opened the door slowly. She was wearing one of my shirts, nothing else. Her hair was loose, her eyes were tired, her lips were soft. "You look confused," she said. "I am," I replied, "about us." She stepped aside. "Then come inside, let's talk." We sat on the couch, close, too close. Our knees touched. Neither of us moved. "I hate when we fight," I whispered. "I hate when you pull away." "I won't pull away anymore," she said. She turned fully toward me. "You already have me," she said. "Why don't you believe that?" Before I could answer, she placed her hand on my face, slowly, carefully, like she was asking permission. I leaned into her touch. She smiled. She moved closer. Our foreheads touched. Our breaths mixed. "Adrian," she quieted, "don't think, just feel." Then she kissed me, not playfully, not teasingly, deep, intentional, like she had been waiting all day. I responded without hesitation. My hands found her waist. She pulled me closer. Our bodies aligned. Her heartbeat was racing. So was mine. She broke the kiss briefly. "Do you want me?" she asked softly. "Yes," I replied immediately. "More than I know how to explain." She stood up and held my hand. "Then follow me." We walked to her bedroom. No rush, no fear, just desire and trust. She turned to face me. "You're safe here," she whispered, "so be honest with me. I'm yours tonight, and every night I'm allowed to be." She kissed me again, slower, deeper. We moved together, unhurried, connected, learning each other, listening to every breath, every reaction, every silent request.
time disappeared. There was no pressure, no pretending, no performance, just two people giving themselves fully. When it was over, we lay side by side, her head on my chest, my arm around her, our bodies relaxed, our hearts open. She traced circles on my skin. That was, she paused, perfect. I smiled, because it was real. She looked up at me. Promise me something. What? I asked. Don't ever make me feel unwanted again. I won't, I affirmed. Not after tonight. Not after knowing what we share. She kissed my chest softly. I love the way you love me, she whispered, and I love the way you trust me. That night, we didn't just share our bodies. We shared our fears, our hopes, our vulnerabilities.
And this is the part of my story I avoided telling for a long time, because it exposed my weakness. After that night, everything felt closer. Too close. Too intense. Too real. Lila started calling me every day. Not just at night, not just when she was lonely. In the morning, in traffic, between meetings. Did you eat? Do you miss me? What are you thinking about? And the truth was always the same. Her. At first, I loved it. I loved feeling wanted, chosen, needed. But slowly, something shifted. She became distant in strange ways, physically close, emotionally guarded. She would hold my hand in public but avoid deep conversations. She would kiss me passionately but change the subject when I talked about the future. One night I asked her, "Why do you always run when things get serious?" She smiled. "I don't run." "Yes, you do," I said. "You hide." She touched my lips. "Let's not talk about this tonight." And I let it go. Again. Then there was Nadia. She worked in my office. Smart, confident, direct. She noticed when I was distracted. "You're always staring at your phone," she said one afternoon. "Girlfriend problems?" "Something like that," I replied. She laughed. "Men in love are always complicated." I didn't answer. Lila started canceling plans. "I'm tired. I'm busy. Another time." But when we met, she became more intense, more physical, like she was using desire to cover distance. One evening, she came over unexpectedly. No warning, no explanation. She walked in, dropped her bag, and kissed me. Hard, urgent. "What's wrong?" I asked between kisses. "Nothing," she whispered. "Just touch me." And I did. We didn't talk. We didn't argue. We didn't explain. We let our bodies speak. Slow at first, then desperate. She pulled me closer. "I need you," she whispered. I believed her. We moved together until every doubt disappeared, until every question faded. Afterward, she lay on my chest, silent, distant again. "Lila," I said softly, "where are you right now?" She didn't answer. She just closed her eyes. That was when I knew I was loving her more than she was loving me. A few weeks later, Nadia invited me out for drinks. "Just friends," she said. I hesitated. Then I went. We talked. We laughed. She listened. Really listened. "You're always giving," she said. "Who takes care of you?" I didn't know how to answer. She touched my hand, gently, not demanding, not aggressive, just present. She whispered, "You deserve consistency." That night, I didn't go home. I went to her place. I told myself it was a mistake. I told myself I'd leave. I didn't. Inside, the lights were soft, warm, comforting. She poured wine. We sat close, too close. Our knees touched. Neither of us moved. "You don't have to stay,"
she said. I know, I replied, but I want to. She turned toward me. Her eyes searched mine. Are you sure? She asked. I don't want to be a mistake. You're not, I said. I need this. She reached out and touched my face. Slowly, gently, like she was testing my reaction. I leaned into her hand. She smiled softly. Then she kissed me. Not rushed, not desperate, careful, tender. Her lips were warm, inviting. I responded, pulling her closer. Our bodies aligned. Her hands slid up my chest. Mine rested on her waist. I felt her breathing change. Faster, deeper. She whispered, "Don't disappear on me tonight." "I won't," I replied. "I'm here." She closed her eyes. "You're gentle," she whispered. "I want to be. For you." She leaned in. We kissed again. Deeper this time. Longer. More connected. Our hands explored carefully, learning, responding, listening. Every touch meant something. Every breath mattered. We undressed each other slowly. No pressure, no performance, just desire mixed with tenderness. When we finally lay together, it felt natural, comforting, safe. Our movements were unhurried, attentive. She responded to every touch, every whisper, every kiss. I held her close. She wrapped herself around me. We stayed connected, emotionally, physically, completely. Time disappeared. There was no confusion, no fear, no doubt, only closeness, only warmth, only release. Afterward, she lay on my chest, silent, distant again. "Lila," I said softly, "where are you right now?" She didn't answer. She just closed her eyes. But as peaceful as it felt, guilt followed. I stared at the ceiling, thinking of Lila, thinking of promises, thinking of lies. "What are you thinking?" Nadia asked. "I don't deserve you," I replied. She lifted her head. "Don't say that. I'm not free. I'm just lost." She kissed my shoulder. "Then find yourself," she whispered. The next morning, I left quietly, with comfort in my body and conflict in my heart, because I realized something. With Nadia, I felt safe. With Lila, I felt alive, and I didn't know which one mattered more. That was the beginning of my distance from honesty, from loyalty, from myself. And that's when temptation stopped being exciting and started being dangerous. 2 hours after I got home, Lila called. "Where were you last night?" she asked. "I was at home," I lied. Silence. "Do you still love me?" she asked. "Yes," I replied, and that was the worst part. It was true. From that day, I lived in two worlds. With Lila, passion and uncertainty. With Nadia, peace and guilt. I was trapped. One night, Lila finally said, "Adrian, I'm afraid of giving you all of me. And I'm afraid of losing myself waiting." We stared at each other, broken, confused, still in love, still distant. And that's when I realized temptation isn't always about desire. Sometimes it's about running from pain. And I was running in every direction.
Thank you for watching. This is the end of part 1. Drop a message if you want to see part 2. We shall release part 2 when we see enough requests. Don't forget to like this video, share with others, and do subscribe to this channel. Thank you.